The Void, Series 1, Episode 2. Who the hell is Buck Rogers? Chapter 6. In Akari's absence, Carter worked on his mobility. It was his primary motivator, as all he wanted to do was have the ability to walk through the door. He wasn't a prisoner, but he might as well be. Grunting with every step, he slowly made his way towards the kitchen area. He hadn't made it over there yet and wanted to explore it, and hopefully find some alcohol. "Just a few more steps, Mr. Vincent," Cain encouraged. "Don't call me that, Cain," he complained. "Carter is fine. Mr. Vincent is how my boss always referred to me." "You don't like that?" "Hell no," Carter responded as he made another laborious step. "No matter how much money I made for him, being referred to as Mr. Vincent just made me feel undervalued, like I was just another resource." "You mentioned you were an investment banker." "Yeah, I worked for a bank called S01E02C06. Used to analyze the risks involved in certain investments or advise others on projects. I was pretty good at it too. Almost always made people a profit and only ever had a few missteps," Carter elaborated, resting between steps. "But I got fed up with it because of the long hours. I was looking at options elsewhere when I got sick, so that f***ed up that great plan." He made another step, sweating as he did so. His legs were so heavy, like it was made out of lead. "Nearly there." "The months that followed, I spent so much time thinking about the time I'd wasted in that job, chasing after money. I should have left sooner," Carter sighed. "I could have had so much more time with the family." "It's always easy to say these things in retrospect, Carter." "I guess. Doesn't make it any less true, though." One last effort to reach his destination. He lifted his foot again and moved it towards the central counter. "You did it." "Right. Now where's the booze?" "What's booze?" "That word not popular anymore," Carter mused. "Alcohol, Cain. Is there any alcohol here?" "I'm afraid I didn't consider that when they moved you here," Cain revealed. "But I can order some for you if you want." "That would be appreciated, old son." "Do you have any specific preference?" This led Carter to think of another question. What did they drink in the future? "Is lager still a thing?" "It is. We currently have 30 different lagers in stock at the moment, plus one brewed on board." "You have a brewery on board this ship?" "You'd never get so many humans this far into space without a plentiful supply of alcohol," Cain commented with dry wit. "Huh, I guess not," Carter laughed. "How many would you like?" "Could you get me 6 to get on with?" Carter asked. "They're on their way." "Just like that?" "Yes." "Did you order that with some tech I ain't seen yet?" "In a manner of speaking," Cain answered obliquely. "I am connected to the whole ship after all." "What, like through another sort of cybernetic implant?" "No. I am an artificial intelligence. It's what the AI in Cain stands for." "Now you're taking the... I assure you I am telling you the truth." "So you're saying you're some kind of robot?" Cain visibly flinched at the word. "I'd prefer it if you didn't use that word." "What, robot?" Cain wondered. "Why?" "It's what the word means. It literally means slave," Cain explained with some distaste. "I work with humanity, but I am not a slave. I am considered a sapient being in my own right, and I am afforded the same rights as humans. That word is anathema to all artificial sapients." "I'm sorry, Cain," Carter apologized. "I didn't mean to offend you." "That's quite right, Mr. Vincent. You weren't to know," Cain replied. "But I would prefer it if you avoided that term from now on." "Message received and understood," Carter responded playfully. "You're an AI. I never thought I'd ever get to see one. Not one walking and talking like me." Wonder crept into Carter's voice. He had suspected something was unusual with Cain, but he had no idea he was artificial. The level of sophistication was amazing. He looked and responded like a normal human, possessing such traits as compassion, empathy, and humor. "Well, I hope I meet your expectations." "That and then some," Carter complimented. "You're more human than some of the people I used to work with." "Thank you, Mr. Vincent. That means a lot to me." "Yeah, but they were bankers." "Ah, now that's a humorous side," Cain noticed. "Very good." "I have to admit, Cain, I would never have guessed," Carter added, "especially your use of humor." "Such a hard thing to get right," Cain murmured. "Yeah, well, humor is tricky. What makes one person laugh offends another, Carter observed. The way I see it, it makes a good survival mechanism. It's why I'm stood here struggling to walk and making jokes about bankers. It's such a fascinating aspect of human behavior, especially the darker end of the spectrum. That's even more polarizing. There was a shrill alarm as someone announced their presence outside. Cain strode over and opened the door to a young man bearing a box filled with bottles. Cain thanked him and returned back to Carter, placing the box on the counter before him. Carter lifted one of the bottles up and looked at it. Still cold, he whispered with satisfaction. It bore a legend not dissimilar to those he was used to. It seemed little had changed in the world of beer, at least. Even the name of the beer seemed remarkably familiar. Liberation Lager. Someone in the brewery has a sense of humor, Carter noted as he unscrewed the lid. He took a swig and marveled at the taste. It had been some time, he thought to himself, before realizing it hadn't just been a few weeks or months, but millennia since his last beer. It was a crisp taste and a little different to what he was used to, but in a pleasant way. It tasted clearer, less chemical. There was a slight citrus flavor to it as well. Not bad. I'm delivery too. I could get used to this. Normally you'd have to pick these up from a collection point, but you're in quarantine at the moment, so you get a delivery. Quarantine? We have to be careful when dealing with those who have been in stasis. It's not just you that has been preserved, but your bacteria as well. These diseases from your time that might not present a threat to you could kill millions of modern humans. Likewise, there are pathogens around now your body simply can't cope with, Cain elucidated. Until we make sure you are free of ancient bacteria and immunized against modern ones, you have to remain in quarantine. Well, it's not like I'm very mobile at the moment anyway, Carter quipped as he started looking around the kitchen area. Where's the fridge? Fridge? Refrigerator, cold box, somewhere you could put cold beer. Carter had the realization he was going to be doing a lot of this. Cain grabbed the remaining beers and walked over to a long panel on the wall. Cain plunged the bottles into the translucent green gel in the panel and left them there, suspended in the gelatinous substance. That's the fridge. It's a cold place to store food and drink, Cain responded with what Carter detected as possible sarcasm. Weird. This is what we need to work on, Mr. Vincent. If the items in this living space seem weird to you, then the world out there is going to be quite overwhelming. I have no doubt. Beer is still a thing, so chalk that one up as a positive, Carter responded. Goo fridge goes in the unsure pile, though. We tend to refer to it as a chiller or chill wall. It's definitely a goo fridge, Carter determined. What about television? Does that still exist, or do we have some weird holograms or something? Television is somewhat of an archaic term, but it does still exist, yes, Cain explained. They're referred to as visual entertainment streams, or just streams for short. You still have programs on it, movies, that kind of thing. Yes. Funny, I would have thought that would have been replaced, Carter mused as he sipped on his beer. There are modern forms of entertainment, but this does not negate the old ones. The visual medium is still popular because it works on a basic level. There are a few practical issues, though. Entertainment downloads are not possible whilst in space, as communications is reserved for essential traffic. There is still a wide library of streams available, however. I don't see a display or flat screen or anything like that. That's because there aren't any, Cain pointed out. As he stated this, the entire wall came alive, displaying the ship's logo. Whoa, the whole wall! Most of the walls and surfaces on the ship can act as a display if needed. How do I control it? Through the media pad over there. He could see what Cain was pointing to. It was going to take him ages to get there. He wondered whether that was deliberate on Cain's behalf, giving him motivation for exercise. So, what is there to watch? Have the programs changed much? You'll have to judge for yourself, Cain dismissed. But I have limited your choices of streams for the time being. Why? The same reason you have to work up to going outside. Too much exposure could have ill effects on you at this stage, Cain elaborated. I'm going to start you off with a few documentaries, some of the safer streams and some of the older streams I have. Is that all? Even with this limited selection, I would advise you not to watch too many documentaries in one go. First time I've been told documentaries about for me elf, Carter observed wryly. They can be in this situation, Mr. Vincent. What about movies? I do have a couple of ancient films in my library, but I believe they were all after you went into stasis, so there won't be anything familiar. However, they should be safe for you to watch. Carter grumbled to himself as he finished off the beer. He put the bottle back on the counter and gasped. His arms felt like they'd been bodybuilding without any warm-up. Now, didn't know how tired I could get drinking a beer. Don't get too tired already, Mr. Vincent, Cain chided. We've still got a few more exercises to do.